family believes there could be a cover-up. Well, one of the best ways to do a cover-up? You take that phone and you do something with it.
Willie D Live.
One of the students, and you may want to touch on this, that was there, his mother is a judge, right? And now she was getting scrutiny. And now that's impacting her ability to be a judge. Now she's getting this, she's not on the case. Questions will be raised as to the fact that a witness's mother is in the judiciary, and did she have any play? Because there is evidence that son made an initial call when Nolan's whereabouts were at the very least unknown, and maybe more, right? He called his mom. His mom reported to law enforcement. His mom's an attorney. By judge, he's an attorney, right? And I know what I would do for my son or daughter if my child was being looked at, right or wrong. It's not about guilt or innocence. It's about knowing the law, knowing what our rights are. We always tell other people as an accused, a defendant is an accused. I'm still innocent under the law, and everyone has a right not to talk to law enforcement. We talk about this a lot on the other side of things. You don't have to talk to them. If you're innocent, don't talk to them. They're not there for your innocence. They're there to lock you into a story, right? And as an attorney, I would always tell anyone, don't talk to police. Talk to me. Let me talk to police, right? So you're seeing a lot of people circle the wagons. Maybe they got some legal advice on that, right? I can say as an attorney, that's the advice I would give, right? And so you may feel they should be talking, that they're hiding. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But innocent people have the same rights as guilty people, and we don't know which is which. So there are questions there with that.
Well, the judge injected herself in this case publicly. When she made that public statement, she put herself in the direct line of fire. So she ain't getting no break from me as far as like people scrutinizing her, because she put herself out there like that. Her son was involved in some type of way. At the very least, he's associated with the case. He was with Nolan prior to Nolan's death. Now, I'm gonna tell you the way that I'm built. Man, if my friend is hanging out with me and ends up dead, I'm speaking on it. Law enforcement's just gonna have to come do whatever the hell they got to do, because I'm not killing my friend. So they gonna have to just do whatever the hell they gotta do. I'm not running and hiding, man. I'm not gonna delete my social media. I ain't scared of these motherfuckers, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna delete my social media and hide. I'm finna jump on there, and I ain't saying I'm gonna go back and forth with people. I ain't saying I'm gonna do all of that, but at the very least, I am going to say R.I.P. Nolan Wells, my dog. Post a picture of my partner. Say what the hell you want to say. I can't control you uncivilized much. Say whatever the hell you want to say, but that's my dog, and I'm gonna speak on it. I'm letting you know that's my partner. I'm not even thinking about getting prosecuted and all this type of stuff, man. I'm doing what comes natural when a person is grieving, when a person has a loved one who has been lost. I'm grieving. I'm gonna salute my partner. I'm gonna pay tribute. And maybe people wouldn't be so suspicious if they didn't totally delete the accounts, if they would have just turned off the comments. Because they could have done that. They could have just turned their comments.
Or private them.
Or made them private. So that makes me think they have something to hide. And then furthermore, what do you think about the fact that the friends held on to Nolan's phone and his car keys and did not give them to the parents voluntarily? The parents had to go and hunt them down to retrieve those keys and his cell phone.
So before I come to that, if you could refresh my recollection, the family ultimately got it back not directly from the friends, but through law enforcement efforts.
No.
You got it from the friends?
First of all, law enforcement ain't had no efforts. The family been doing all the work. The family been doing all the investigating. Hell, they need to get a family a damn law enforcement check at the end of the month. Whenever they get paid, they need to make sure they shoot the Wells, the Worsley family over something too, because they've been doing all the damn investigating. The mother tracked the phone. Yep. The daddy tracked the keys. The mother tracked down the phone. And and got the phone from one of the friends, and then the father went to the house of another friend who was actually sleeping like a baby. I think when after he got the news that his friend was missing, he sleep. So look, man, I don't know how these people are set up. I don't know how their brains are set up. I don't know how their hearts are set up. I don't know what type of energy they got, but if I got a friend that go missing, man, it's going to be hard for me to get some sleep, especially the first day that I heard that he was missing. That's going to be hard for me to get some sleep. So there's a lot of inconsistencies and when you look at the fact that they held on to those keys and that phone, if it's my friend, I got the phone, I got the keys. First thing I'm gonna do is call mama. I'm gonna call daddy. Hey, I got his key. Here you go. I got it. Here you go. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I think the answer could come from the question I had earlier, which was, we know at least one attorney, the judge, the mom, was involved. How much did these children get spoken to or legally advised? Because I hear what you're saying as a friend, right? I have clients that are passionate like you for their friends all the time. And sometimes what you feel is right morally, right, will go against what I advise for you legally, because it's not about, I don't want what's right for Nolan. If you were my client, I need what's best for Willie, right? Even if Willie feels it's not fair, I need to look out for your interests. And if you want to say Nolan was my kid, right? That's my boy, and RIP, great. I don't want you. You're paying me to protect you. Let me protect you. Blame me. Blame the lawyer. My lawyer. This is Willie G. You got how many million followers, right? Why are you saying something? My lawyer will yell at me if I talk anything about it. My lawyers told me I'm not allowed to talk about it, right? And that's his legal advice, and that's why he does what he does. I want to, I will one day. I've been instructed. My lawyer's gonna be so mad at me if I talk about it. He's gonna chew my ear off. That's what I tell clients. It's not about, I'm here for you. I'm not against Nolan. I want I got young kids. It's tragic. Nolan, 18 years old, is in college. This guy had his whole life ahead of him. He was in football. This kid was going to do big things. Like, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. These cases like this hurt me. But as an attorney, I'm telling you, I will give you a legal reason why, if any of those children were my clients, I will tell them, you don't touch that phone. I do not want your fingerprints to be the last ones on that phone. Because where does that put you? The last one to touch Nolan's phone. And that puts you one step closer to being the last one with Nolan. Whether you did something or not, I don't want your after the fact involvement in evidence. The phone's evidence. I think we all it's an approve or disprove something. I don't want any more people involved in it than they already were up to the point it happened. We've discussed, it's been said, the family believes there could be a cover-up. Well, what's one of the best ways to do a cover-up? You take that phone and you do something with it, right? If I'm the attorney for any of the kids, I'm saying, I am telling you, don't do anything. Don't touch anything. That's for law. You're not a cop. That's for law enforcement. If you want to tell them the phone is over there on top of the Xbox, I read Nolan was believed to have left it in the house.
The keys were on the top of the Xbox.
Okay. And they were both, because the question was, why was he with them near the water? We can get into that. But I am telling my clients, if you want to tell them keys are over there and the phone's over there, great. Don't touch it. Think of it like a dead body. If you're walking down the street, you see a dead body. If you ask me, what do I do? Like, you don't touch that body, Willie. Please call the police. Tell them where the body is. I don't want your fingerprints to be the last ones on that thing.
Well, you ain't got to tell me about that part.
But it's the same, if we change, if we change what it is, like, I understand that. Listen, I don't fault the family at all. I don't ever want to be in their shoes, but I think they got counsel. You don't involve yourself. You can share what you know, share where things are. You leave it to law enforcement, because now, go ahead.
Yeah, the DA said that she was going to bring the case to the grand jury. Now, walk us through what that looks like, because a lot of people are under the impression that once it goes to a grand jury, that means they got a suspect. That means somebody going to jail, like somebody at least going to trial. So walk us through the process of a case being presented to the grand jury.
Great question. And this is where I think you could have very real concerns about race coming into play. And I'll get to that in a moment. This is where I think it becomes real. So not every state has a grand jury process. And some states have it in different forms. Florida does not. New York does. I've been practicing both. As a prosecutor, did many grand juries. A grand jury, you can think of it first like a jury panel. Usually it's up to about 18, 24 people. And they are sequestered. They can go home at night, but they are a private jury panel. And for usually 2 to 3 weeks, every day, they come to the state attorney's office, they sit in a room, and they wait for felony attorneys, to present cases to see if there's probable cause to go forward with a prosecution. Okay? It's not beyond a reasonable doubt. Does the state have a good faith basis enough here, probable cause to bring this, to continue to indict this person or persons for this crime or crimes, and to go forward? Typically, defendants, suspects, do not have access to the grand jury. It's strictly for the prosecutors, one side, to give evidence to members of your community, your peers, evidently, right? That's why I said the comment before. So your peers, your community, people you go to the store with, and they're going to decide if there's enough. Now, defendants can elect to testify in a grand jury, but they know nothing what goes on before after the fact. Okay? And depending on your viewpoint, when it's a grand jury, if the grand jury decides a no true bill, which is there's not enough evidence, the case dies right there, and the prosecutor, whatever you think of them, going to say, it wasn't my decision, it's not my fault, your community, your peers decided there wasn't enough. And if they decide there is enough, prosecutors say, it wasn't my decision. The community, a jury of your peers, has decided there is enough to indict you on these felony charges, and we are now going to proceed with charges against you. And so that's how. So what the grand jury will do is the prosecutor's office, the prosecutor will, over time, they don't have to do it in a day. They have the full panel length, so it could be several weeks, to present evidence. And then at the end, they'll ask the jury to vote in private by majority. Does the state attorney's office have enough to proceed with this case? And they will vote yes or no. Okay. And if the prosecutor's office wants, their best chance for a true bill, which is to indict, is to present as much evidence as possible. And so we go back to getting the forensics done, getting the autopsy done, getting the analysis of the bone done, all this stuff, because the grand jury can come back with questions. The prosecutor is limited in how he can answer it, he or she. They can't answer directly. They want to answer it with evidence, or to present another witness, or to say, you got to remember the testimony. But it's the jury panel that will decide if anyone or multiple get charged with certain crimes. And the prosecutor can say, we think it's premeditated murder, manslaughter, reckless manslaughter, boating vehicular death with recklessness. And the grand jury can pick any of the charges that are presented to them. That's where I think you're going to see, and we won't know, or we're not supposed to know, the makeup of the grand jury. So we don't know if it was all men, no women, all white, no black. We don't get to know that. It's supposed to be a random jury process. It's supposed to be random.
Yeah, you know what I don't like about this grand jury, which I call a clan jury, because it's typically white folks. These grand juries are typically white folks, and they get to decide who even ends up getting prosecuted and who don't. They can just say, hey, we don't want that case. Well, we're going to take that. We don't take that. We don't want that. And the prosecutor gets to only answer the questions. The defense attorney don't get to say nothing about it. And also, we don't get to know what evidence was presented to the grand jury. We're in the dark. The public is totally in the dark. And that's fundamentally flawed to me, man. That is something great. Like, who in the hell approved that? Who thought that was a good idea? That's a horrible idea. It's a horrible way to administer so-called justice. One other question, I got to ask you this. The grand jury, is the grand jury, can they request more evidence, or do they have to only consider the evidence presented?
So they can't outright say, we want more evidence. But let's say from the evidence provided, they'll come back with a question. And the best way to answer that question is to provide more evidence if it's available. So they can't just say, I want to see the autopsy record. They could say, what did the autopsy record show? And the prosecutor either say, it's a great question. We're not done yet. I'll see you tomorrow. Go get that, present it to them. Or they can say, ladies and gentlemen, you need to rely on the evidence that's been presented to you. So the jury can ask anything they want, but they don't get direct answers. And the prosecutor can't explain anything to them. They're going to say, look, all I can do is show you evidence, give you testimony, show you exhibits. You need to interpret that for yourself. I can give you the instruction in the law or what you're told how to interpret certain things, but I cannot explain it to you.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Jack Palmieri. Look, man, I appreciate you coming on the show. You have shed a lot of light on this case. And man, I'm probably going to have you back on there real soon, man, because this case it's got a lot of twists and turns to it. And I know that it's going to continue to be polarized. And so absolutely thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for coming on the show, man. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, man. You flatter me. It was my pleasure. I'm at your leisure.
There you go. Appreciate you, man. No more talk.